got a fire from long range. Wickham missing. It's a miracle in the West. What a moment for this young team. Round 14 of WNBL kicks off in the West. The Perth Lynx host the Adelaide Lightning in the first of two back-to-back games between the two top four teams. First versus third on the table. Welcome to the Bendat Basketball Centre. Liam Ellison here alongside Olympian and world champion Opal Jenny Screen. Jenny, welcome, and should be a cracker tonight.
It should be. I mean, the second game at home for the Perth Lynx after probably not the homecoming they had wanted, but no doubt they'll be coming into a great game tonight.
Straight into it here at the Bendat Basketball Centre. The Lynx come away with the first tip. Wickham and Werrung with the first possession. Over to Scherf, back out there today after missing the last contest. Young to the hoop. So Young will take a trip to the line. Hasn't she been fantastic, Jackie Young?
She has indeed. I mean, from the start of the season where she was finding her feet and where she fits when Maybury and obviously Sammy Wickham are on the court. It's really hard to share the ball around with such prolific scorers and talent as those players, but she's come into her own. She's averaging almost 16 points now. She was really great in their loss to Sydney on the weekend, so no doubt she'll be having a big one tonight, and it's good to see that Lauren Scherf is also back in the lineup as well.
Certainly did have a big game against the Flames despite the loss. Of course, Marina Maybury might be back within the week according to the West Australian. Of course, not in action tonight. Here's Talbot, leading the league in assists, 6.5 per game. Perth do well. Young, mid-range 2. Smith pulls down the rebound. Werrung calling for a screen. Here's Talbot. Shook, who's been great in the second half of the season. Thought about the three. Now she pulls up for two, a little strong. Wickham ahead. Garvin just running out of space. Smith did well. Williams, and she's run out of real estate.
So far, I've liked the tempo which Perth are playing at the moment. You know, they're being able to slow down Adelaide a little bit. We saw in Townsville that Shannon Seabom threw a zone at the Adelaide Lightning, which just disrupted them a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see if Ryan Petrick does the same thing here tonight, depending on what the scoreline is. But a really nice start for Perth in terms of their tempo.
Gibertoni, here's Scherf. Off on that one. Smith hands it over to Werrung. Shook and Scherf battling in the post, fading away.
And that's going to be an exciting battle tonight between those two players. You've got, you know, Shook, who's a WNBA player with the New York Liberty, has having a great season herself, averaging 10 points, almost 8 rebounds a game, and fills a very good role for the Chris Lucas lineup, as we see Jackie Young backing up what she did the other night and starting really well for the Lynx. But then you've also got the likes of Lauren Scherf, who's in career form, I think, averaging a double-double game. So watch for that battle down low with the bigs.
Smith fouled. And Scherf, yeah, sitting second in the league and rebounding, 11.7 a game.
That was just great ball movement by the Perth Lynx. That nice dive hard to the rim by Lauren Scherf created the rotation. And then obviously that nice extra selfless pass to find Young on the wing there. Another matchup for all our viewers watching at home is going to be this lady on screen, Alana Smith, who I think's come into her own. She's injury-free. She's playing with a lot of confidence this season. But her matchup tonight against Darcy Garbin. Garbin's obviously trying to put a hand up for the green and gold in the World Cup. So no doubt she'll be wanting to shut down Alana as much as she can.
Scherf makes her move on Shook. Now Gibertoni can fire. It's good. The Lynx extend their early lead. Talbot down low to Alana Smith. Here is that matchup. No good that time. Young to Wickham in the corner. Wickham's triple's good. 3 of 3 from the land of plenty. Quick start here for Perth. Williams got the space to fire. Been having a nice season as well for Adelaide, Kiana Williams. As Young the other way, feeling it like she did in the first quarter on Saturday night. Young comes up with a steal. Got Smith ahead of her. Hands it off to Whitcomb, missing. Missed opportunity that time for Perth, and Werrung is mishandled.
Oh. And you can see Chris Lucas on the sideline. I think he's trusting in his troops right now. I think the temptation is probably to call a timeout and you know, get them together and regroup. We've also got to mention that, you know, the time difference. It's 2.5 hours and 3 hours for us here. It's pretty late for us, you know.
Sure is.
Lucky I didn't take a sleeping tablet tonight. But that's going to play havoc as well. I mean, I'm sure they flew over the day before or 2 days, but for them it's almost 9:30, well, 9 o'clock at night compared to the Lynx girls who are adjusted. They know the time difference and they're awake, whereas the other girls, their circadian rhythm is like, I'm a little bit asleep. So it might take the Adelaide Lightning girls a little bit longer to find their feet in this game.
Talbot to inbound. Comes off the Smith screen from the free throw line. That's good. The Lightning have a league best 6-0 record on the road this season, looking to continue that here today at Perth. Mishandled. Williams can just waltz in for an easy 2.
They do have a great record on the road, and they also average almost 10 more points on the road compared to when they're playing at home. Obviously haven't got used to playing that beautiful new stadium of theirs in Adelaide, but that's a promising thing considering they've got 4 games in the next 8 days. 2 of those will be at home, but some tough competition coming their way.
Jam-packed schedule indeed. Scherf and Shook. So Scherf will go to the free throw line.
That was a really nice aggressive take there by Scherf. Just a nice little post action, faking to her left and then a rip drive straight onto her right hand and getting Shook out of stance and herself to the foul line. She's another one that I think is still around the mix for the Opals, probably on the fringe, but in terms of bigs, you know, Abby Bishop's been injured with Southside Flyers. She hasn't got the opportunity. She's probably a potential one there. So every game that Scherf plays in the next, you know, up into the finals is almost she's putting on display what she can do. She's a big, strong body. She's one of the tallest in the competition, and no doubt Sandy Brondello is probably keeping a close eye on her the closer we get to that World Cup campaign.
Putting her best foot forward. 15 points, 12 boards per game for Scherf. So we're going the other way. Offensive foul. Tough one.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much more stationary Smith could have been, but obviously the decision lies with the referees. And Smith has made mention of that. You know, it took her some adjustment to get used to the referees here in Australia compared to playing in obviously Asia and the WNBA as well. So she's made that adjustment. I thought she got a bit distracted early on in the season by referees and their calls, but nice to see her let that one go.
Inside to Garvin, who just keeps it in. He's Sharp, fading away. So now Williams. Both teams a little fumbly here, early days. Smith drawing contacts. So Alana Smith will have her second trip to the free throw line this evening.
We know Smith loves to go to the middle, especially to her right shoulder. That's where she wants to go. It'd be nice to see them force her baseline and potentially get a trap action. Darcy Garvin did a great job there, stood her ground, and she just got bailed out there by Eisenberger with a cheeky hand in.
Two or two for Alana Smith. Halfway through the first one possession ball game. Whitcomb. Kicking it round the perimeter. Now Young. Contested. Jay draws contact.
She's a strong point guard, Jackie Young. Just the ability, nice little fend off there against Williams, but the ability just to hold her ground and then be able to go from horizontal to vertical into a jump shot like that is just pure strength, and it's really nice to see. I think the key moving forward for Perth, if Maybury is about to inject herself back in the next couple of weeks, is where do they all fit and how does it work? Is it going to put them into a little bit of discomfort and lull as to how they all work together, or is it just going to be a seamless flip? Because we know how much Maybury loves the ball in her hands a lot of the time.
Certainly, of course, still the leading average scorer in the league. Haven't seen her since January now, Marina Maybury. Whitcomb. Running transition for Perth. Keeps it into Eisenbarger. Here's Garvin. Young. Pull up 2. Back out to 6 for Perth. Looking to bounce back from what was probably the boil over of the season. Williams. And 1 play.
Nice recognition there from Williams. Just a bit too long of a closeout from Whitcomb and a quick blow by. Rotation came from Schaaf, but just a crafty finish from the point guard from the Adelaide Lightning.
11 points per game this season for Williams. That's good. Up to 7 already in the first. Whitcomb. And again, we're heading to the charity stripe.
And right now in this first quarter, while Adelaide are putting points on the board, I think the biggest difference is the pace in which Perth are playing. They're getting the ball in quick, whether it be off a score or a defensive stop and a rebound, and they're pushing with pace. They're getting downhill. Their penetration into the paint has been exceptional, but they're also finding the open players, and their ball movement has been really, really good. Obviously, a bit different to what we saw against Sydney the other night. They were just a little bit haphazard and probably didn't respect their opponents as much as they should have. But right now, it's a pretty good opening quarter.
2-2 there from Whitcomb. Emma Gandini now out there for the first time this evening for Perth. Brooke as well for Adelaide. Kicks it out to Whittle, turnover. Again, Perth pushing the pace. And last touch by the Lynx.
Williams has a great start to this quarter. I think we haven't seen the best of her yet. You know, she had ankle injury early on in the season across December, January, but you know, to start this quarter 100% from the field, 7 points, and looking after the ball as well. I think she's been a great asset.
Marina Whittle off the bench for Adelaide. Here's Talbot. Tried to hand it off to Brooke. Lightning ball.
I'd rather see Talbot put that on the rim. She's athletic enough. You know, nice little handoff action into a pick and roll in the middle. That should just be Talbot up on the rim, and then Brooks has already rolled, so that she's there for the offensive rebound if it misses.
Talbot into Smith. Now Smith's doubled. Werong will fire. 3 balls good.
Abby's been great on the road this season for the Adelaide Lightning. She's had 6 and 10 in the games that she has played on the road away from the Adelaide Lightning Stadium. So no doubt she'll have a big impact tonight.
Sharp turns it over. Run into a brick wall of Adelaide defenders. Swift pass from Whitcomb. No good that time, so now the Lightning trying to close the gap. Whittle comes around the screen. Steps in for 2. Brooks there though to crash the glass. Werung Tough contested lay-in, tapped it out to Eisenberger. Perth got the numbers momentarily. Adelaide get back, although they mishandled. Werung throws it ahead to Smith. And Scherf did really well. Again, pushing the pace. This time, Whitcomb goes all the way herself. No good. Talbot searching for some assistance. Finds it in the way of Smith. In the paint, no good. So it's a 2 of 9 start shooting from the field for Perth from 2. 3 of 3 from long range. Whitcomb, 4 of 4 now from 3 for the Lynx.
And that's where I'd love Sammy to play a lot more, is in the 2 spot. We know that she can bring the ball up, she's crafty and all that stuff and can create, but she's also a prolific shooter, and I don't think we're seeing the best of her in this uniform this season. And I know you've got Mabry, Young and the like, but I'd love to see her more coming off some down screens, some coming off some exit action and some flares potentially to allow her those opportunities to take those beautiful shots we know she's capable of.
This time Gandini fires from deep, and the Lynx hot start from the land of plenty. Trying to trim that 8-point margin going into the quarter-time break. Gandini comes up with a steal. Whitcomb can assess her options. Over to Scherf, now she'll fire. Finally, the Lynx come back down to earth, but Gandini crashing the glass. Sharp, corner 3, follows her own miss. So now shot clock off, Adelaide. One last opportunity. Talbot picks it out of the air. Werung, that's a deep triple. And Smith finishes off the quarter in style. So the Perth Lynx take a 6-point lead into the quarter-time break. If the bucket from Smith counts, it's 26-18 on your screens currently. Stick around, second quarter coming up soon.
To everyone who said we're not strong enough, not fast enough, wrong. We're crossover queens, scoring buckets, taking names and hitting no-look threes. We fight for every ball. And do we dunk? Hell yeah. When we roll onto the court with nothing to lose and everything to prove, you're in for a show. She got style, she got balls, she got belief, she got game.
Welcome back to Perth and the Bendat Basketball Centre. Liam Ellison here alongside Jenny Screen. Perth 6-point leaders at this stage. And if you like what you've seen tonight, don't forget about Aussie Hoops Basketball's national junior participation program, introducing kids aged 5 to 10 years old to our great game. Introducing more than 100,000 kids per year to the game of basketball. Link coming up on your screen very, very shortly. Great way to get your young tacker involved. AussieHoops.basketball/find a program. Well, it's been a hot start shooting from beyond the arc for Perth, Jenny. And after a tough loss Saturday night, they look to bounce back here.
Yeah, I thought their pace and intent in the first quarter was really good. Those back-to-back threes at the end of the first quarter just stretched out the lead of what would have been a 2-point margin for the Adelaide Lightning. What I'm liking is their ball movement. They've got a 7 assists to the quarter. Something that they're actually really good at, as are Adelaide throughout this season, is their ability to move the ball and find their open teammates. They might be 5 of 7 from 3. They're 2 of 10 from the 2-point line or for the rest of their shots. So that's something they'll want to clean up. They've had some nice little looks close to the rim, haven't been able to finish. Adelaide, on the other hand, not much to fault except their defensive transition.
Here we go, Abby Werong to start us off for Adelaide. Talbot. Young doing her best to deter her, goes herself. Garvin with a block. 10 seconds to work with for the Lightning. Werung inbound straight to Brooke, easy two. Good start to the first quarter for Jackie Young. Leading scorer in the ball game with 10 points. Scherf with a screen. Another shot falls for Jackie Young. Now 4 of 5 from the field. Werung goes herself and just rattles out. 2 shots coming up. Of course, tonight is the first game of a back-to-back set between these two teams. Adelaide currently sitting top of the table. Great chance to cement themselves there over the next 2 nights.
It'll be interesting how it plays out. Chris Lucas doesn't want his girls, and he made comment throughout the week about not getting distracted by where they're sitting at the moment. It's a bit of smoking mirrors. They've still got some tough games, 4 in the next 8 days, and one of them obviously is Wednesday against Perth, but then they head home and they've got to face the Melbourne Boomers and then the UC Caps. So after those 4 games, then they'll probably get a realistic opportunity to see where they are at in regards to the ladder for the rest of the season.
Tough run home for the Lightning. Young. She loves this spot so far this evening, not that time. Ahead to Talbot. She takes on Scherf, got to back it out. Whips it over to Kylie Shook. And look, the 3 ball goes up. Young thought about the triple. This time, Jackie Young steps into another long-range 2.
And that's too easy. They've got to change their matchup or what they're doing pick and roll wise with Jackie Young. She's beautiful in terms of the mid-range and the ability to pull up and also get to the rim. I don't think the 3 ball is her go-to, so perhaps it's a go-under play or maybe look at trapping her and forcing the ball out of her hands a little bit.
So Shook blocked by Scherf. Young again. What does she have in store for us this time? Talbot deters her. Into Scherf. She's got Brooke on her. Off the window for 2.
Nice to see the big girl use her left hand and finish. Really nice.
Time out on the floor. Perth 32. 8-point lead this year. And it looks to be more of the same so far in the second, Jenny.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I feel like we're just finding out the rhythm of both teams at the moment, but I love this play from Scherf. She didn't go to what would normally be her right-hand favourite position, turning back to her left shoulder. She finished on her left, which is a nice little hook shot.
Jackie Young, the game's leading scorer, 14 points. 5 of 7 shooting so far for her. Some big news around the league today. Paul Goris to depart the Capitals at season's end to pursue a WNBA opportunity. So great to see some more Australian faces in the WNBA.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think Goris has done an exceptional job at the UC Caps, and prior to that, he was at what is known as the Centre of Excellence in Canberra as well, and he's just plied his trade. He's been in the Opals assistants for many years now, and it's exciting that he's getting those opportunities and recognition, and we and everyone wish him all the best. And it's nice to know that a league like Australia can produce coaches like that, and he's one of many. Kerry Graff's gone over before and coaching the WNBA as well with the Phoenix Mercury, so no doubt she'll be in his ear and giving him some tips, because it's a different league, it's a different beast, it's a different, you know, makeup and personality of people. But no doubt he'll be lapping up and enjoying the opportunity that's presenting itself to him.
Exciting stuff. Two-time champion with the Capitals. Goris looking for maybe a third this year. Canberra right up amongst it once again. As are these two, back underway in the second. Talbot hands it over to Werrung. Now Ortlup in the corner. Young, full of confidence. Over to her skipper and Garvin. Oh, what a step through.
That was beautiful footwork there by Darcy Garvin, one of the veterans of the Perth Lynx team. That's probably one area of Chelsea Brooks' game that she will need to develop as she gets older. She's got a great outside shot and has the ability to knock it down like she does there, but it's the defensive end that sometimes just lets her down.
So Emma Clark out there now for Perth. Tibertoni hands it back to Garvin. Pump fakes on Werrung, and Brooke meets her at the apex. Good defense from the Lightning. Werrung bounce past to Shook, who draws some serious contacts.
Awkward fall by both of them then as we hold our breath, but nice push play downhill from Abby Werrung here on the right-hand side. Just got Tibertoni on her, ow, I don't like watching stuff like that, on her left hip, and was able to find a nice little crafty pass to Shook, who was running rim to rim.
Up to 4 points now in the game, Kylie Shook. Converts in the free throw. Young with the ball handling duties. Garvin having a career year shooting the three ball. No good that time. Hand off to Williams. Inbounds to Shook. Fading away. Not that time. Young just testing Ortlup. Now she'll fire. Loves this spot.
Love is an understatement. If we were to have a shot chart of her and where she's nailed all her buckets, it's definitely around that keyway 15-foot.
Continues to dominate in this game. Young up to 16 now. Werrung into Smith. So the Lynx running things through their star. Young cannot be stopped in the second period.
Hasn't been stopped all game since the first ball went up in the jump. Really crafty finish. There was, you know, Ortlup did as good as she could, but too strong.
Well, a bit of deja vu about this. She dominated in the first half as well against the Flames, but slowed down a little bit in the second. Now up to 19 points already. Perth double-digit leaders for the first time this evening. Into Shook. Got Scherf on her and converts. Whitcomb back out there. Scherf finds Young again. She has got the hot hand, Jackie Young.
And that's just too easy. You know, defensively for Adelaide, Chris Lucas wouldn't be happy with that. It's just a nice little cross screen, guard to guard. And that action is just too simple for Jackie Young.
Look. Williams couldn't keep it in. Now Young again. 2-on-1 situation. Hands it off to Whitcomb, and that's as easy as it gets for the Perth Lynx. Defense into offense. Time out on the floor. And they lead by 12 points.
Nice hands and read of the play to come up with the steal there by Jackie Young, and then selflessly finding her teammate Sammy Whitcomb for a nice little finish. And you can see when Sammy Whitcomb's on the floor, she sat a little bit in the early stages of that second quarter, but she just brings energy and intent and purpose to every play. She cuts hard every single time. She passes on time, on target every time. The little details that we probably take for granted that make a lot of difference is what Sammy Whitcomb brings, along with everything else that she does, which is score and play some really good defense as well. But when she's on the floor, even if she's not scoring, she is a threat.
12.5 points per game for Sammy Whitcomb this season. Lower tally by her lofty standards, but with so many talented teammates around her, Jenny. One of which today is Jackie Young with 21 points. No need to score at the same volume?
No, not at all. And that's probably the great trait of Sammy Whitcomb as well, is her ability to fit and mould into the team that she needs to play in. If she needs to score, she'll score. If she needs to create, she'll be able to create. And then obviously we know how much a great leader she is in any team that she puts a uniform on. So for Whitcomb, I don't think it's about the points. I reckon it's about winning a championship for the Perth Lynx, and they haven't done that for quite a long time, even though they've had some talent in recent years.
1992 was the last time a Western Australian team won the championship. The Perth Breakers back then under Tom Maher. 30 years ago, and they've got the personnel to make a run at it this year. Here's Talbot. Got to go now, Talbot. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Contested too.
Tough poise and finish there from Talbot. There really wasn't many options. I feel like she's a little bit underdone. I don't know why. She seems a bit proppy. She does have the knee taped as well, but I'd love to see her be a little bit more assertive and take this game on a little bit more.
Whittle stops that in its tracks. Now she looks to show some aggression. Talbot over to Smith. Adelaide get one back.
And that bucket might have been Smith's and goes to her, but that was actually created by Shook. She dove really hard off that pick and roll action with Stealth Talbot, which drew the D and left Alana Smith open in that nice little short corner pocket.
Burrows couldn't find iron. Flips it back out to Sammy Whitcomb. So Perth with another opportunity. Scherf, hook shot's good. Turnover. Taya Burrows comes up with it. 4-on-2 situation and throws it to the feet of Sharp.
And right now, Lauren Scherf, shout out to her. It's also her birthday. Happy birthday, Lauren. And right now, everything she's throwing up is finding the bottom of the net for her tonight.
So 6 points, 4 assists as well for Lauren Scherf. Chipatoni pulls down the defensive rebound and she's fouled.
Big couple of minutes coming up for the Adelaide Lightning here. 2:45 on the clock. They're down by 10. You know, Adelaide normally pride themselves on their ability to play defense, and Perth have got 45 points on the scoreboard already, heading for almost a 100-point ball game. I'm sure that's something that's going to be focused on. But if they can lock down in these next couple of minutes, get some stops, get some good looks, hopefully they might be able to get some momentum heading into the halftime break.
Chipatoni flips it around. Now Garvin from the corner. Crashing the glass there is Sharp.
And that's what happens when you play a 2-3 zone, is you give up potentially sometimes some offensive rebounding, and Perth were able to do that through Sharp there.
Whittle does it on the other end as well for Adelaide. Came from the perimeter, Sharp, to pull that one down.
Well, she's great in the rebounding contest. So is Marina Whittle, for her size. But Alex Sharp, she averages over 6 rebounds a game, and 3 of those are on the offensive end. So don't underestimate her ability to fly in from the wing and get some crafty rebounds.
Timeout on the floor. Lynx leaders by 12 here. 2 minutes out from the half-time break and shooting 53% from the field as a team. 5 of 8 from long range. Mighty, mighty efficient so far in this ball game. 5 turnovers as well. So a bit to work on for Chris Lucas and the Adelaide Lightning.
Yeah, this has been a bit sloppy with the ball and possession at times. They've got 7 turnovers. Lucky for them, the Perth Lynx have only scored 5 points off turnovers thus far. But offensively, they're getting some good looks. They're shooting at a good clip, 46% from 2, and 1 of 5 ain't that great. We're not, shouting from the rafters about that one, but we know they can shoot from deep. Other than that, and looking after the ball, it's all about the defensive end. Who's going to shut down Young? 21 points. Whitcomb, another guard. And Adelaide have the defensive ability through Werung, through Talbot, and the like to be able to get it done.
So Williams to inbound. Trying to trim that gap going into the halftime break. Whittle again crashing the glass. Perth corral it. Chibatoni over to Scherf. Now Whitcomb will step into a triple. Oh, contested. Talbot was right there. Didn't matter.
Oh, great defense, just even better offense. The backspin off her shot is just phenomenal to watch.
Isn't it ever? Continue their three-point shooting as Whittle gets it to go. Whitcomb up to 13 now. Scherf. Sharp in the corner. Chibatoni finds Scherf with some space.
Ooh. Again, great ball movement. Adelaide had rotations for maybe second and third, but just a miscommunication on that fourth one led to that rotation let down. But a much-needed basket through Alana Smith for the Adelaide Lightning there.
Alana Smith, the sole player in double digits for Adelaide. Whitcomb puts it behind her back. She'll go to the free throw line. There's that backspin again you speak of, Jenny.
And then there's this, look at that. Little cheeky behind the back. Who even thinks of that when they're penetrating to the rim, But she seems locked in tonight to make amends for, their first home game where they let it slip against the Sydney Flames and gave away a win that potentially should have been theirs, and every betting person probably thought it was going to be theirs, but Sydney had different ideas and came away with an exceptional win away from home.
They look a different outfit so far tonight, Perth. Less than a minute to go now in the first half. Into Scherf, she's got Talbot on her, blocked. Good defense from Talbot. Into a cutting Smith. Up to 13 now in the ball game. So Perth have looked after this 12-point lead for most of the second quarter. Young, what a start to the ball game for her. Over to Garvin from the top, and no good. So that will do it for the end of the first half. The home side, Perth Lynx, lead 54-42. They've been shooting the ball mighty efficiently. Jenny Screen, 52% from 2 and 6 of 11 from long range.
Great start. I don't think their coaching staff could really poke holes at a lot of their offensive structure and their intent and purpose on that end. And also defensively, they've done a great job. For the Adelaide Lightning, on the other hand, well, I think it all comes down to defense. One, looking after the ball. I'd love to see Steph Talbot be a bit more selfish. I think she comes off a little bit too pass-orientated at the moment, but someone that's not being selfish and taking their shots is the guards from Perth Lynx. They've been phenomenal in Young and Whitcomb, both obviously Whitcomb with 15, Jackie Young with 21, and Scherf following up with her own 8. But it was all Jackie Young in that first half, and she was phenomenal in that 15-foot range.
You're right, it's been that big three, so to speak, for Perth in this game. Young, Scherf and Whitcomb. For the Adelaide front is that heavy fall from Kylie Shook. She's okay, thankfully. It's Smith leading the way with 13 points. And Kiana Williams and Kylie Shook with 7 apiece as well. And Sammy Whitcomb, hasn't she looked locked in?
She has. We know how crafty she can be, you know, whatever uniform she's wearing. She's a great leader and no doubt she'll be back for a big second half.
Match stats coming up on your screen right now, and pretty even in the rebounding department. Really, it's the shooting that looks to be the difference at the moment.
Well, not really. I mean, so 48% for Adelaide. Yeah, as a coach, you'd be looking at that going, I'm pretty happy. Yep, 2 of 7 from the three-point line. It ain't too bad, you know, 29%. Yes, yes, you would think that's great, but the other thing is Lynx are shooting better, 52%, 55 from 3. It's just their lack of tenacity and I guess grunt a little bit on the defensive end and lackluster defensive transition. They've got to pick up Young earlier and Sammy Whitcomb as well because they're getting downhill quick in that first 8 seconds. So I would be surprised if there isn't some adjustment there from the Lightning in this third quarter.
Perth Lynx lead by 12. We'll be back with the second half after the break as we continue to celebrate Indigenous culture in the WNBL. Let's take a look at the art of Marley, who has been involved in the FIBA Women's World Cup.
Hi, my name is Amali. This painting represents me and my life as a young Islander and Majida girl.
And then you can see where it's going. So you haven't drawn, Molly?
Yeah.
You know, just do that. What you always do, you know, like bundle, just so then you can see the road and you can see what's missing then. Lie down the verse from there.
So the big circle here represents me, and then the one outside of it represents art, basketball, culture, and country. My dad used to play basketball a lot, and he used to like take us to the courts, and then we would always play there with our little sisters. I love my language, I love my people, and my country, and my culture.
Welcome back to Perth and the Bendat Basketball Centre. Liam Ellison here alongside Jenny Screen to bring you this one. And it's the Lynx leading by 12 points, 54-42. Get excited, Hoop fans. The FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2022 is bringing the world's best players to our own backyard. This September, the Opals will be part of a 12-team playing tournament vying for the world title at Sydney Olympic Park. Sign up for first access to tickets at womensworldcup.basketball. And of course, Jenny, the draw as well for the World Cup happened only a week ago.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Michelle Timms had the challenge of trying to give Australia the best pool, but you know what? At a World Cup, the 12 best teams go, and any team that you play is going to be tough. And we've drawn a pretty tough draw in terms of Japan, Canada, Serbia, France. They're probably going to be the biggest ones we come up against. We've got Nigeria as well. And then even if we get past that stage, crossing over is going to be even tougher with USA, China and the like on the other side. But at the end of the day, Sandy Brondello was interviewed and she said, every game is tough. We don't want an easy road, and that's what they're not going to get. It's not going to be easy, and there's a lot of time in preparation for the girls between now and then. But how exciting is it that we have a World Cup in Australia? It hasn't happened since Timsy played in '94, and I just think of all the young girls and boys that get the opportunity to see their homegrown stars on home soil playing in a World Cup is so exciting.
Exciting stuff. Rare opportunity for Australian basketball fans as Young comes up with the second opportunity. Garvin for three. That one drops.
And that one hurts. That pushes out the lead to the biggest that it's been, 15 points for the game. And that's where they're probably struggling, you know, 7 of 13, 54% from the three-point line. Adelaide have got to do a better job of running them off that three-point mark.
Talbot assessed for the travel. The Lynx well in control here early in the third. Chibatoni over to Wickham. Out to Scherf, now she can fire. Talbot tried to throw it ahead. Young rose up for the steal. Now she takes on Talbot herself.
And that's a tough finish against an athletic defender in Talbot for Jackie Young to find her 23rd point of the game. I think the biggest thing for me in this third quarter, who from the Adelaide Lightning is going to put their hand up and shut down Jackie Young?
Wickham blocked Werrung as Garvin and Smith get tangled up. There's that play again. Wickham did well. Look out.
Thought it was really good D by Sammy. You know, Abby kind of created the contact herself and stepped back into Wickham.
Shook missing on that three-point attempt. Scherf tried to hand it off to Young. Now she gives it to Garvin. Back inside to Scherf. Spinning, and Scherf is having herself a game. Williams backs it out to Shook, and the Lightning with their first bucket of the second half.
That was great recognition by Williams. She was able to draw Lauren, who was in a bit of a drops action in that pick and roll setting, and created havoc there, and was able to find her Adelaide Lightning teammate in the trail position for a much needed three.
Turnover against the Lynx. So Williams and Chibatoni. Young defending Talbot, and Shook's mishandled it. Scherf trying to keep it in and cannot.
Adelaide are very lucky right now. They've got 10 turnovers to their name. They're just taking a little bit too long to get into their structures and their sets, and whereas in comparison, Perth are just on point all the time. in their transition.
Smith over to Talbot. Trying to chip away at this Perth lead. Shook, roll into the hoop, flips it over to Smith. He'll fire for three. Shook's there on the O-board. Reverse lay-in just a little off, and Garvin does well for Perth. Young, again, the mid-range two, this time no good. Williams pushing it the other way. Falls back out to Kiana Williams.
Perth Lynx are doing a lot of switching in the pick and roll setting, and Shook is actually getting a little bit of a smaller type on her, like Alex Batoni on her, excuse me, Alex. And they've got to have a much better recognition of that and exploit that opportunity with Shook down low, and they just haven't recognised that enough yet.
Talbot in the post, out to Shook for three. Smith's there on the O-glass. So Perth corral. Good first half for Whitcomb. Garvin hands it back to Whitcomb. Nice play, Lynx. "17 points now for Sammy Whitcomb. Talbot trying to make something happen, and does. Whitcomb backs it out to Scherf. Chibatoni can fire. Hits back iron, and Whitcomb getting in there somehow, keeping it in.
And that's just extra effort and desperation by their leader, Sammy Whitcomb. Have a look here. She's outnumbered. Shook should have got it. Abby Werong lost sight of her on that offensive rebound set, and she just out-hustled two Adelaide Lightning players.
Chibatoni checking out for Perth. So Whitcomb inbounds to Young, leading scorer in the first half. Whitcomb's got the space to fire it again. Perth can go again. Here's Young. Back inside to Scherf, turning and finishing. Williams throws it ahead to Talbot. Stays with Adelaide.
Really love the ball movement and execution in the half court from the Perth Lynx now. It's actually really nice to watch. I'm sure they're going to have some nice little highlight reels at the end of this game or when they're reviewing the tape during the week.
Williams drops it down to Shook, throws it straight into Whitcomb. Chance to make it a 20-point margin. And Whitcomb is blocked by Adelaide. There's that Werung play again, and Shook just came in. So Young is fouled. Calls on Talbot. So Young will head to the line. She's 4 of 5 from this spot this evening. 9 of 12 from the field.
Having a night out, is she indeed? And you just gave her the journo's jinx, by the way. So that's your fault. She missed that foul shot. But she's absolutely lapping up the opportunity to do as much as she can while Mabry's out. And I'm really fascinated as she takes a well-earned rest in this third quarter to see how
Todd Smith with the cut and finishes. Whitcomb. 5 of 11 today for Whitcomb. Here's Sharp. Pops it out to Garvin. Second 3-ball goes for Darcy Garvin.
And you always knew that was going up. She's at a pretty good clip from the three-point line. She loves a three-point shot, and although Marina Whittle had a hand up, it just wasn't enough for the four-man in Darcy Garvin.
Talbot fouled, and Garvin leading the league in three-point shooting percentage, 44% this season.
And she has that ability when she has great penetrators and guards around her, you know, with Sammy Whitcomb, Mabry, Young. She's another one. When they can get in deep to the paint and draw Garvin's defender, that just opens up the well for Darcy to have open three time and time again, and it's nice to see her draining them.
Talbot no good on the second. Adelaide, though, with a second opportunity. Whittle steps into a three, and Garvin pulls it down. 15-8 quarter so far for Perth Lynx. And Whitcomb is feeling it.
Feeling indeed. She's drained 4 from deep. Only missed 2 thus far in the game.
21-point leaders now, the Lynx. Talbot gets her shot away, no good. Gandini, transition, and Whitcomb again. It goes up. Garvin's there to crash the glass, but Smith for Adelaide. Trying to push the issue in transition, the Lightning. Smith cutting to the hoop. Wanted the contact, won't get it. Whitcomb directing traffic. Garvin for a third triple. Just off. Talbot fighting in there for Adelaide. So Chelsea Brook will head to the charity stripe.
And that's a much better push out of defensive transition from the Adelaide Lightning. They're getting the ball, crashing off the ring, as we see Sammy Whitcomb having a great night. But here you see Talbot just being able to push out, having Chelsea Brook flying the lane nice and hard and getting a nice little look from the foul line. But just push the pressure on Perth Lynx to get back in their defensive set and order. And again, I feel like it's deja vu from the second quarter. We're saying, okay, there's 5 minutes here, you know, can they lock in, get some stops? Because that's where it's at, 72 points. And we've still got 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. That's way too much. And I know Chris Lucas wouldn't be happy with that.
Second one's good for Brook. Chibatoni and Werrung trying to force the ball out of Whitcomb's hands. Scherf. Now Whitcomb nearly got her shot away. Chibatoni, plenty of space.
Space and time created by Sammy Whitcomb. Beautiful shot by Alex Chibatoni. Saw her drain one in the first quarter as well.
10th triple of the game for Perth. Into Whittle. That one's good. So chance to chat things over. 20-point ball game. Perth have, well, they're looking like they're bouncing back in style from their tough defeat on Saturday night. Still game on though, Jenny Screen.
I think so. I mean, yes, 20 points is a big margin, but it's not undoable. And Adelaide have got to do more things like that. Put people like Alex Chibatoni, who's a smaller guard type, against the likes of Marina Whittle in positions where, you know, the leverage is in the Adelaide Lightning's favour. But for me, Perth are doing all the things that they should have done on Saturday against Sydney right now. And maybe that was the kick up the backside they needed, because I'm sure Coach Ryan Petrick wasn't happy with what happened and the outcome against Sydney. But make no mistake about it, they're playing exceptional tonight, and those people that have made the effort to Bendat Stadium would be enjoying what they're seeing from their Lynx.
Certainly, of course, Jack Bendat unfortunately left us a few weeks ago at age 96. The owner, long-time owner of the Perth Wildcats, and as of 2015 as well, bought the West Coast Waves and renamed them the Perth Lynx. So a famous Western Australian basketball name. Jenny, unfortunately, passing away.
Synonymous with the game of basketball in WA. He built the stadium that you see here on the screen right now. You know, it's contributed a lot, not only to basketball in WA, but in Australia as well. And to get a wicket of 96, you've got to be pretty happy with that. But, you know, we salute him for all he's done. And I know the Wildcats especially would be saddened by his loss, but also grateful for his contributions, because he paid a lot of their paychecks, that's for sure.
Well, hopefully they can get the job done for him tonight. Garvin from the corner.
And isn't Garvin getting the job done for her team right now? She was pretty quiet on Saturday, only had the 2 points, well below her season average of 13 points. So definitely, I guess, making up for it in this one.
Brooke on the O-glass. So Garvin up to 3 triples now. Williams will replace Werrong.
Adelaide, interestingly, have only played really 7 players. I mean, Ortlup's come in for just under 5 minutes, but Simons and Badish haven't seen any court time tonight. Interestingly, as we see, you know, one of the great minds of our game, and Chris Lucas having a chat to his assistant and one of the WNBL's former greats in Natty Hurst. But it'll be interesting if those girls get to see some court time tonight.
Both players who've played an important role off the bench for most of the season for Adelaide. So they get the stop there, the Lightning. 2 minutes to make a run before the end of 3. Williams. Here's Talbot. Now she makes her move on Young. That's the aggression we spoke of. Lay in, no good. Young the other way for Perth.
And that's just scout recognition. You know she loves the mid-range game, so Chelsea should have either kept forcing her to the rim and allow Chelsea to use her length. But obviously, too smart is Young in that scenario.
Garvin thought about the steal. Here's Shook. Talbot searching for Shook. Too much on it.
Have a look here. Brooks just backs off a little bit too much there on Young, gives her too much space, and we know she doesn't need much time or space to get her pull-up up with how athletic she is, and finds the bottom of the net.
Eisenbarger. And too many steps. Just over 60 seconds to go here in the third. So Chibatoni remains out there. Gandini takes a break for Perth. Williams steps into a triple. Ortlup's there, but Eisenbarger pulls it down. So 26 points for Jackie Young so far. Garvin hands it into Chibatoni. Not that time. Williams on the fast break. Gandini slowed her up and Shook. No good that time. Five assists as well in the game for Young. 10 of 13 shooting. Whittle right up in her grill. 5 seconds on the shot clock. She's got to go now. Young steps into a 3. Williams, shot clock off, pushing the pace. And shot goes up from Williams. What a way to end the third. The Adelaide Lightning 60 trail the home side. Perth Lynx 80. Stick around. Fourth quarter not far away. Basketball Centre. There's that buzzer beater shot from Kiana Williams to end the third. Nice moment for the Lightning. It's been all Perth, though, so far this evening. Well, Spalding believe everyone should have the opportunity to play basketball. Grab yourself a ball and get started today at spalding.com.au. Spalding are the official ball partner of the WNBL. Score reads 80-59 in favour of the Lynx. Liam Ellison here alongside Jenny Screen to bring you this one. And what's the message here, Jenny, if you're Chris Lucas and the Lightning?
Defense. That's probably about it. I mean, 80 points is normally the ball game for the Perth Lynx, who average for the season 83 points per game. So they're well ahead of that heading to the last 10 minutes of this contest. So it's all about defense. Can we lock them down? Can we maybe stop them from
He falls.
talk about a player whose shot finds the heavens? It's Alex Chibatoni. She's got arc on that like Christy Harrow used to have when she used to shoot the ball.
Perth getting the job done from long range, 12 of 24. Chibatoni, now she's working inside. She's off to the charity stripe.
She's having a great game. You know, she's taking her open looks. They're finding the bottom of the net. I think she's been a great asset in terms of her penetration, and then she posts up well for someone her size. You know, she only averages 4 points a game, and tonight she's done great. She's got 9 points, 4 assists as well, 4 turnovers, and you know, she's also an Adelaide girl. So nice to see her doing well against her former team from a few years ago.
2-2 for Chibatoni. Gets her to double digits, 11 points, 4 dimes. Now Talbot, and fouled, so one more coming up.
And that's the assertiveness that I'm talking about, you know, just coming off, not even looking to pass the ball, just coming off hard and strong and pulling out for that athletic one-bounce J that we know she's capable of. Shook is good enough to dive and get herself on the rim. I think Shook's someone that probably is a little bit disappointed in her performance tonight. You know, she's been doing okay, but missed probably some shots. She's 12 points, which isn't anything bad, but I think she knows she's capable of a lot more. 4 of 10 from the field as well. But for me, Steph Talbot, she's got her 12. She's on track for her 13 points per game. But I think if Adelaide are going to be a factor come finals time, she has to have more an impact, especially when in terms of ticking the scoreboard over.
Nearly turned it over. Perth hold on to it. Garvin. She can fire from the top. And Garvin's marksmanship continues. Sam Simon's out there for the first time this evening as she turns it over. Now Williams picks it off. Smith, and too many steps.
It's been lights out from downtown for the Perth Lynx tonight. Much better showing than their performance on Saturday. Adelaide Lightning are trapping a little bit off the on-ball, but they're just not being aggressive enough. And right there is a prime example. You're just giving too much space with the ball handler to allow those easy kind of passes and easy buckets.
Another turnover as well. So Perth racing towards 100 points here. Whitcomb, risky pass. Here's Talbot. Now the Lightning have got numbers. Williams, transition 3. Gets one. Side to Smith. Now she makes her move on Eisenbarger, off the window and in.
That's a tough finish from Alana Smith. She isn't that tall. I mean, around 6'2", 6'3", most likely, but a really tough finish around 3 tall timbers from the Perth Lynx.
Eisenbarger's in there and Smith comes up with it. She's fouled. "17 points, 6 boards today for Smith."
Defense in this last couple of minutes has been a little bit better from the Adelaide Lightning. They're trapping a little bit more assertively. Their rotations are a little bit better. Not just one rotation, but they're getting second and third opportunities now and just forcing the Perth into a few turnovers here and some stoppages. And let's see if they can close this gap a little bit in the last 6 minutes.
21-point leaders, the Perth Lynx, 92-71 they lead. And, well, the UC Capitals registered the highest score of the season on Saturday night with 106 points. The Lynx look like a real chance to get that tonight, Jenny.
They're well on the way. The greatest thing about the game for the UC Caps and Southside Flyers the other night, apart from the poor showing from Southside Flyers, it was a good game in terms of assists because it was for Lifeline round and a good cause in terms of mental health. And we know that a lot of players and some players in our league have had struggles with that over the years, and we're becoming more comfortable about talking about that. So it was good to see through the UC Caps and the Southside Flyers game, they were able to get a lot of assists on the board and generate a lot of money. We know Joe Ingles and Renee Ingles, they also contributed a lot of money to that cause as well and matched some of the money raised, which is exciting considering, you know, whilst Joe's over in the NBA, he's still got an eye on what's happening here in Australia.
Great to see the basketball community getting around that cause. 21 assists for the Flyers, 24 for the Capitals. So it really was an assist spree, as you said, Jenny. Here we go. 6 minutes to go here. Currently 12 apiece in this fourth quarter. The Lynx have won every quarter to this point. Travel call. th turnover of the game on Adelaide. So Whitcomb and Young combining once again. 50 points between them tonight. Chibatoni, same spot. This time she can't convert. Talbot trying to get around Young. Defense from Perth. And camping in the key, says the referee.
Alana loves a good chat with the referees. A really good chat. Sometimes I wish she'd just you know, move on, whether she agrees or not with the call, because I think sometimes that can just get distracting sometimes. It takes away from, you know, the good things she's doing, and rather than just moving on, she just sometimes spends a little bit too much time with the referees.
Wickham the other way. That's a deep triple from Garvin. Hits back iron. Fresh 14. Nice passing from Perth. But it's last touch by the Lightning.
And they're the second chance opportunities that shouldn't happen. Sometimes you're going to get, you know, offensive rebounds and that happens, but a long rebound like that, especially from a deep three from Darcy, and to get her own rebound off that, that's just poor closing out, or boxing out, I should say, from the Adelaide Lightning there.
Substitution. Kylie Shook takes a break.
Yeah, you can see now, I think Adelaide Lightning are probably waving the white flag here. You've got Talbot, Smith and Shook, three of their starters, and Abby Werung on the bench now. Potentially Chris is thinking long term, you know, the chance of us getting this game back with 5 minutes to go in the fourth. We play them in 2 days' time. We're better off just recouping and saving our legs and going back to the drawing board tomorrow to be prepared for the Wednesday game again here at Bendat Stadium against Perth.
So Williams fouled as Ella Badish comes out for the first time this evening.
Interesting. I thought that was pretty solid D from Sammy Whitcomb, and she has a case to plead there. I thought all contact came from Williams, but obviously the referee saw it a little bit differently on that one.
Williams, the lone starter remaining in the ball game for Adelaide. Brings the margin back under 20. Wickham, oh, what a pass into Gibertoni and Young. That's what she does best.
Young bringing up her 30th point of the game, 11 of 17, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals. She has chalked up the stat sheet tonight for the Perth Lynx.
Wickham, one-handed pass ahead to Gibertoni. It's been that sort of night. Timeout on the floor. The Lynx 96 lead the Adelaide Lightning 73. There's that pass again from Wickham. And you're right, Jenny. Jackie Young has certainly stuffed the stat sheet once again. That's her 5th steal that she registered moments ago, as the Lynx now have 5 players, all of their starters, into double digits.
They've done exceptionally well. You know, I think the addition of Surf back into the lineup has been really good. Her inside presence gives them a target, which allows them to have space on the perimeter as well. I thought she made some really good buckets. And then that girl on screen, Gibertoni, I think she's been sensational. You know, she plays her role really well. She's come to the party tonight. I think she's been consistent throughout the entire season as well. And it's nice to see someone of her age come of age. You know, she's had to sit a lot, earn her time, and you can see Sammy Whitcomb there giving her some praise, which is really nice, because the opportunities don't come around very often. And for Gibertoni to learn from the likes of Sammy Whitcomb, and also, you know, Maybury and Darcy Garvin and Lauren Scherf, the older girls, is second to none. You can't underestimate what that's like, and she's obviously lapping that up this year and tonight, and she's had a really good showing.
Got a game-high 7 assists, Alex Gibertoni. And the Lynx as a team have 26 dimes. So Williams on the home stretch now for Adelaide. Simon's getting some burn. Here's Ortlup. Badish hands it back to Simons. Good defense. Second opportunity's good. Taya Burrows as well out there for Perth. Just the 5 bench points tonight for the Lynx. And Gibertoni sharp though, crashing the glass. Not that time. Williams triple goes up. And Kiana Williams has had herself a nice little game. 17 points, 4 assists, efficient as well, shooting. Equal leading scorer for Adelaide with Alana Smith, 17 apiece. Now the triple. No good that time for Clinch Hoycard.
And she's one, a youngster that we know can then drain the three. So, you know, they've done exceptionally well. 13 of 29 from, or 29 from the three-point line. 29 of their 70 shots have come from the three-point line. That's an exceptional clip.
Here's Simons. That's a rainbow-type mid-ranger. No good. Gandini with the rebound. Eisenbarger and Burrows combining. Brooke. Oh, good pass to Sharp. So now Williams hands it off to Simons. Brooke opts against the screen. Gandini again with the defensive glass. Opts it out to Burrows. This Perth bench unit getting a run. Sharp keeps it in. Now Burrows goes baseline, finds the lane.
And again, it's nice to see the bench from Perth contributing just as their starters have. And don't underestimate, both teams are running their benches now given the scoreline. But these players are just as important as the starters. They could end up being the X factor in a grand final, a semi-final, hitting the shot that's needed. And right now, these girls are getting opportunities that perhaps they normally don't get. But you're also putting yourself on show that potentially in a game that's a lot closer, a lot more important, when the coach is looking down the bench, they can think, I can go to this person because I remember this game where they did A, B, C, D and got it done. And it's nice to see that the Perth Lynx girls are being able to do that right now.
So the Lynx bring up the 100-point total as Williams takes a break.
And probably a much-needed break. I think she was one of the lone soldiers tonight. You know, she battled hard for her points. 17, you know, not taking anything away from Smith as well. She had a 17 and 7, but I just think consistently tonight Williams was quite exceptional.
Clark just mishandled out of bounds. Here's Ortlup. Badish assessing her options, just flipping it around the perimeter. Good defense from Gandini. She's been active the last few minutes. Clark with a hand in. Now Burrows the other way. Inside to the cutting Clinch Hoycard. 2 free throws coming up.
And again, some great ball movement. They're just taking what the defense is giving them, not doing anything fancy, and, you know, nice little two-game action and roll from the big girl to find herself now at the foul line.
Clinch Hoycard with the first one. Splits a pair from the line, but second opportunity, this time by Mia Satie. Burrows hesitates. Travel call. So less than a minute to go here. Looks as though Perth may just fall short of that season high total of 106 from the Capitals. Unless they've got one more surprise in store for us. Whittle will head to the free-throw line.
Well, this is a game where, you know, Perth have just been too good from the outset. I think they had some probably home truths come out of the Sydney game on Saturday when they went down in their first home game back at Bendat Stadium. And now for the Lightning, this is probably a nice wake-up call for them. You know, we sometimes lull ourselves into a false sense of security. They've won 4 on the trot. coming into tonight's game, and maybe this is just the opportunity to reset, you know, and have a look at where they are at, what they need to fix, and it's always nice that there's not too many sleeps between the next time you've got to face them, which is going to be Wednesday.
They'll be back in action then, these two teams. Gandini tried to hand it off to Clark, stays with the Lynx. 9 seconds on the shot clock. So the Red Army, they've waited a while to see a victory here at the Bendat Basketball Centre. Gandini, tough triple.
Well, I think that just sums up the night for the Perth Lynx. You know, most of the shots they've thrown up have gone down, and that's their 14th three of the game. 30 for the game, 14 of 30. Huge clip, probably one of the best of the season, and a nice spread of scorers as well.
Certainly is. 5 players in double digits for the Perth Lynx. Whittle puts up the 3 ball. That'll do it. And it's been a while. January 2020 was the last time this Red Army has seen their Lynx win at the Bendat Basketball Centre. That changes tonight. The Lynx 104 defeat the Adelaide Lightning 79 in a very, very important win for finals ramifications, Jenny.
It is indeed. I mean, they're fighting for a top 4 finish. They're sitting 3rd at the moment. They're a couple of games behind every other team in the top 4. I think 3 behind in terms of their run home, but they've got a lot of games at home coming up in their last push for the finals. Let's see what they are capable of, because they do have the talent, and then it'll be interesting to see if that girl on screen there, Mabry, in the red T-shirt, will make an appearance towards the end of the season as well.
Hopefully see her back in action very soon from that ankle injury. Clinical performance from this Perth team, led, of course, by their guard combination of Jackie Young and Sammy Whitcomb, who combined for 52 points, if you don't mind. Yeah,
phenomenal backcourt, and pretty hard to stop, if I'm being honest. But the Lightning do have some premier defenders in our league, and Steph Talbot, and I think Abby Werung's another one of those, and they'll be trying to probably rectify what they did tonight. I think they could have done a better job with their trapping action. It wasn't that aggressive, potentially even going under screens against Jackie Young. We know she loves the mid-range game. They're all things, you know, Chris Lucas has been around this game long enough, and no doubt he won't be sleeping much tonight and watching a lot of game tape, and they'll come back ready on Wednesday to face the Perth Lynx again.
Yeah, another great performance for Jackie Young, who's put up 28 and 30 points in her last 2. 11 of 17 from 2 as we get the highlights on your screen right now. Well, for the Adelaide Lightning, it was Williams and Smith who both led the way with 17 points apiece, and just wasn't their night this evening.
No, they were able to rack up the points, like 79 points for the game. You'd be happy with that as a coach, but it was the defensive end. They just gave too much breathing space to the backcourt of Sammy Whitcomb and Jackie Young, and then obviously Chiba Tony did a great job as well in her role, and Scherf, the birthday girl, her contributions. I can't really fault anyone, to be honest, but they were just allowed too much too soon in that first quarter, and it all came from the defensive transition.
Match stats on your screen right now, and the Lynx had a night shooting from the field, 53% if you don't mind, and 28 dimes, so that's some good assist action as well.
Well, you're going to have a lot of assists when you find in the bottom of the net like they did tonight. Exceptional. Their ball movement, like I said, all game was phenomenal. They're really good at that. They normally average 19 assists per game, and they looked after the ball really well. Adelaide, on the other hand, they had 18 turnovers. They got a bit sloppy at times. We know that's an area they're trying to fix up of their game, but also that 29% clip, 5 of 17, isn't that bad, but when you compare it to the 47, well, it doesn't look pretty.
These two teams came into this one 1st and 3rd on the ladder. That's now reversed. The Lynx are in 1st position once again, and there's going to be plenty of changes over the next few weeks. Lots of top 4 matchups coming up, and we'll be back Wednesday night for these two very teams back here at the Bendat Basketball Centre. It's been Liam Ellison alongside Jenny Screen to bring you this one. The Lynx 104 defeat the Adelaide Lightning 79. Catch you next time.